Good morning everyone, and I am Jaimeline Ibaloro. For today's lessons, we are going to tackle what is in Unit 3, Organization and Management of Learner-Centered Classrooms. For that, let us read what is the learning objectives or the goal in this lesson. First is to identify various forms of a learner-centered classroom organization. Second, describe the roles and responsibilities of the learners and teachers for a supportive, inspiring, motivating, and productive learner-centered classroom. Third, to formulate classroom routines and procedures that promotes discipline, fairness, respect, care, and encouraging learning. Fourth is to differentiate authoritative classroom from authoritarian classroom management style. For that, let me ask you this question. Do you think a dirty classroom and an organized classroom would be appreciated by your students? Of course not. So as a future teacher, you should be creative in your classroom setting. You should have a clean, neat, and a beautiful classroom. Especially in elementary kids, you should have a clean and wonderful classroom so the students will be happy and will able to learn of your lesson. Teacher, you should be creative in making your classroom. You should organize and maintain the cleanliness of your classroom and the setting of your classroom so the student will able to learn more. One is room structuring. It has three: for individualized learning, for group learning, and act-oriented classroom. So in the first one, for individualized learning, it means that if you have a organized classroom settings or your classroom settings like a traditional classroom, face-to-face by your students. If we are into a learner-centered classroom, it is more on collaborative approach. So individualized learning, the formation of the chair is flexible or could be by row, so the students were able to meet the needs of their own. For the group learning, this involves group activity, teamwork, and etc. This formation could be, you can use U shapes, so the students were able to collaborate with their group mates, or anything that can be formed like making of circles so that the students or the group will able to communicate or collaborate with each other. Oriented classrooms, this involves teachers' approach to the students. So in making an activity, there is a collaboration with the teacher. So it could be in a setting of it could be U-shape setting or the flexible setting structuring. There are reminders. CFC. C is for convenient arrangement of furniture. F for flexible seating arrangement. C for clean, well lighted, well ventilated, noise-free, fresh classrooms. Structuring, you should be convenient or arrange the furniture properly, like tables, cabinet, bookshelves, or chairs, so that the students will easily find their proper seats, like bookshelves. So you should properly put the bookshelves in the area which is can be seen by the students. A table, you should arrange the tables or chairs properly so the students will not be distracted. Flexible setting arrangement. Part of learner-centered approach is a collaborative learning. And we are in a 21st century where the approach is on learner-centered classroom, so it is more on collaboration. So you should be flexible setting arrangement or the setting of forming a group or a U-shaped setting of chairs. Next is a clean classrooms, well-lighted classrooms so the students will see or clearly see what was the lesson all about. A well-ventilated or so not all students are visually or they clearly see what is on the board. So we should have well-ventilated classrooms. Next is a noise-free. So a classroom should have a noise-free classrooms so that the students will not be distracted by the barriers of the noise. And last is a fresh classroom. So if we have a fresh classrooms, our students will feel positive atmosphere or they are eager to learn on your subjects. Of forms of learner-centered classroom organization is the classroom routines and procedures. So routines are the groundwork for a well-orchestrated classroom. So routine, it is the series of actions or activity na gibalik-balik ra og gama. Examples of our routine is example when we are in elementary days, after flag, we fall in line in our classroom. Each student enter the classroom one by one. After entering the classroom and they are on their proper seats, a teacher or a student has their idea, or they are following the procedures or instructions by the teachers, or the rules that the teachers are implemented in the classrooms. Routines is bounded by class rules. So class rules, this is implemented by the teachers. These include the rules or the procedures so the students will follow in day by day in their classroom settings. So class rules is to establish discipline by simply stating the rules and policies in the class. This could class rules include the students do and do not do in the classroom. The transition, it is the change from one state or condition to another. It is like in a PowerPoint presentation, there is a transition in each slide before you're going to the next slide. Transition, as a teacher, we need to have a transition. Transition is to avoid dull moments. So it means that if you are skillful enough in doing your presentation, a student were able to learn easily. So example, if you are a teacher in science, if you talk about in this day a lesson of cell, so the next day you're talking about what is the part of the cell, so the students will easily and get the point of it. And the next one is the materials. Make your rules and procedures in the distribution and collection of materials, storage of common materials, teacher desks, and storage areas in student desks. So materials is part of the procedures and routines in the classroom settings because we usually perform an activities that involves using of materials like papers, notebooks. So in engaging paperworks, there are procedures and what are the students going to do in passing their notes or the papers they are answered. Group works. Rules and procedures in the group work address the following: movement in and out of the group, expected behaviors of students in the group, expected behaviors of students not in the group, and group communication with the teachers. So in a group work, there are rules and procedures to be followed. So movement in out of the group. So in a group, a teacher has a rules or procedures so the students were able to commit or were able to collaborate with the group mates they have. And the teachers, group communication with the teacher. So it is understood that in a group work activity, there is a collaboration with your teacher. One is the difference between authoritative classroom and authoritarian classroom. Authoritative teachers have students who tend to be self-reliant, delay gratification, get along with their peers, and show high self-esteem. This style encourages students to be independent thinkers and peers, but still involves effective monitoring. An authoritarian classroom, it is restrictive and punitive. Authoritarian teachers place firm limits and controls on students, have little verbal exchange with them. Students in authoritarian classrooms tend to be passive learners, fail to initiate activities, express anxiety about social comparison, and have poor communication skills. So the difference between authoritative from authoritarian, authoritative management of classroom styles helps to produce students who are especially competent and responsible. It is like an authoritarian classroom management style describes a teachers having total control over the classroom. It is like a traditional learning-centered classroom, which is the teacher has the high power. In authoritative classroom, this is more on 21st century or the learner-centered classrooms. And on authoritarian classrooms, the learners are passive. About room structuring and classroom routines and procedures. So as future teachers, so we should have a proper rules, regulation, procedures implemented by the classroom so that they and be creative or be organized and have a management of the classroom settings so that the students will eager to learn and to be educated. That's all, and I hope you learn in our discussion for today. Thank you.